Sonic Labyrinth has to be one of the most unusual and bizarre games in the Sonic universe. Releasing in 1995 on the Sega Game Gear handheld system, the game literally throws everything you know about Sonic out the window, as it is very different from all of the other experiences that came before it. If anything, it's more akin to Sonic 3D Blast, that released on the Sega Mega Drive, as it plays from an isometric perspective. But what makes this game different is that the overall sense of speed in this game has been drastically reduced. It's like as if Dr. Robotnik has stolen Sonic's speed boots, which leaves Sonic himself unable to run or jump properly. Instead of blazing through levels at breakneck speed, you're stuck navigating maze-like stages at a snail's pace, making this feel more like a puzzle game more so than a typical Sonic game. It is very experimental, as yes, it does take its influences heavily from Sonic 3D, where you're running up ramps, you're going through maze-like levels, where you have different objectives to complete, as you can't simply just run to the end zone. There is certain things and tasks that you must adhere to in order to unlock the next stage moving forward. But what it lacks in most areas, it does make up for in others, because with it being an 8-bit game, Sonic Labyrinth does manage to push the Game Gear's capabilities to its limit in many ways. The character sprites are surprisingly detailed, with Sonic's animations showing genuine personality despite his mobility limitations. The isometric maze environments feature vibrant colours and solid depth perception that make navigation feel genuinely three-dimensional. The special effects do deserve particular praise. Ring collections, badnik explosions and power-up activations all pop with satisfying visual flair that rivals many 16-bit games of the era. However, the Game Gear's notorious screen blur and battery draining backlight can make the prolonged play sessions challenging. This is where Sonic Labyrinth becomes fascinating. The puzzle over platforming sections, this is where Sonic Labyrinth really becomes fascinating and even frustrating in equal measure, as each level is essentially a top-down maze where you must collect a set number of keys to unlock the exit. Sonic can spin dash, but it's now used as a strategic tool for navigating tight corners and defeating enemies, rather than a speed mechanic. The game introduces unique power-ups, like high jump boots and invincibility stars that add tactical depth to exploration, and there are time limits that create tension without it feeling oppressive, and the maze designs show genuine creativity in their layouts and hidden shortcuts. For an 8-bit game, it did show a lot of innovation and presentation, and it does succeed as a bold creative risk. The maze puzzle gameplay is genuinely engaging once you accept it on its own terms. The graphics showcase impressive technical advancement for the platform, and the soundtrack delivers classic Sonic energy despite the slower pace. More importantly, the game does feel complete and polished. This isn't a rushed cash grab, but a thoughtful experiment. The boss battles do deserve some special mention, featuring clever mechanics that work within the game's movement limitations, while still feeling distinctly Sonic-like. But the main gripes with the game are in its identity crisis, so you have to address the elephant in the room. For many playing this, it doesn't feel like a Sonic game. Stripping away speed and platforming removes the core DNA that defines the franchise. Many players found the slow pace torturous after years of high velocity gameplay, and the maze structure in many ways can feel repetitive across the game's 4 worlds. The controls, while functional, lack the precision needed for some of the tighter maze navigation. Additionally, the Game Gear's limited battery life becomes a genuine concern during longer puzzle solving sessions. I often found that to be the case when playing. It can be a struggle to get through some of the game's more difficult sequences, as the controls definitely can hamper the experience in a lot of cases. But when you look at the positives, Sonic Labyrinth does stand as a proof that established franchises can take creative risks, for better or worse. While it might have failed to win over most Sonic fans, it did succeed in creating something genuinely unique in the platformer landscape. Unlike later experimental Sonic games that have felt broken or incomplete. Labyrinth achieves exactly what it sets out to do. Compared to the momentum-based physics of loop-the-loops of earlier Sonic games, Labyrinth does feel that it exists in an alternate universe. Where Sonic 1 to 3 celebrated speed and flow, Labyrinth demands patience and spatial reasoning. It's less gotta go fast and more gotta think smart. Overall, when we look at it, Sonic Labyrinth is a very competent puzzle platformer trapped in a Sonic's game body. Whether that's a fascinating experiment or a fundamental betrayal depends entirely on what you'd expect from the Blue Blur. One thing's certain, however, there's never been another Sonic game quite like it. But with so many games in the franchise, along with the many bootleg and fan-made renditions of classic games, there is definitely something worth exploring for all Sonic fans out there. And to see some more of these unusual games, you can check out this next video.